Hi, today I'm reviewing the Cover FX Power Play Foundation. And really quick, I just want to say I purchase size products with my own money, so you know you can trust my opinion is what I honestly believe. And if you want to help support the channel, click on the Amazon link below before you make your purchase. So this is a new foundation from Cover FX, and I was got a couple different shades as gift with purchases from Sephora, and the one that matched me the best was N20, so that's what the color I'm going to review with. But really quick, let me also say, if you have dry skin, very dry skin, I don't recommend this. I would much more recommend this for someone with oily to normal skin. If you have dry skin or very dry skin or normal to dry skin, you're probably not going to like this foundation very much for yourself. I have dry skin, and for me, it just didn't do the best with the dry skin because it's a very mattifying foundation. But if you have normal or oily skin or very oily skin, you're probably going to have much better results and better luck with this product than those with dry skin. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and possibly save yourself a little bit of time. If you have dry skin, go to the next review. But if you have oily skin, this one might be much more up your alley. So let me start with my criteria, and I'll kind of let you know what I think. The first criteria is packaging, and this is the sample size. The full size is a bottle with a pump. So they've done quite a nice job with the packaging of it. So I gave it a thumb up there. Next criteria is denatured alcohol, and this does not contain denatured alcohol at all. And a lot of the more mattifying foundations or foundations for oily skin contain either a lot of denatured alcohol or some. So it's really nice to see a good solid foundation for those with oily skin that doesn't contain denatured alcohol. So I really applaud them for doing that. They did a great job with that. So many of them contain a lot of alcohol to make it more mattifying. So the fact that they didn't is really a great thing because it's definitely not good for your skin. So anyway, I give it a thumb up there. Fragrance, also gave it a thumb up there. They did not include any fragrance. That's why I like most Cover FX products, or a lot of them, because they do pretty much do a good job of not including a lot of the irritating ingredients in most of their products. So anyway, number 4 is the manufacturing location, and this is made in Italy, so no issues there. Number 5 is the ease of use. It's pretty easy to use. I usually use my foundation with a damp beauty blender or a sponge, and that's pretty easy to use. The only thing you might have some issues with is that this tends to dry down pretty quickly. So you do have to move fast in blending it, but just because it does have that mattifying effect that it can dry pretty quickly. So just move fast, but it is pretty full coverage, but if you look at my hand, it does a great job covering the imperfections, and just move quickly. But if you have dry skin, you're going to have a lot more issues with it collecting around flakes or any dry patches. So that's why I say if you have drier skin, you're probably not going to want this foundation, but oily or normal skin will not have any issues with that. Number 6 is pigmentation, and this is, I would say, a more full coverage foundation. So it's pretty pigmented. It will cover most imperfections. It's moderately buildable, but because it dries so fast, you might have some issues trying to build coverage, but it's pretty pigmented, so even just a little bit goes a long way. So I gave it a thumb up for pigmentation. Number 7 is animal testing, and Cover FX is cruelty-free, so I love that. No issues there at all. Number 8 is performance, and I gave it a thumb up there. This will last pretty much all day if you have oily skin, and you probably won't have any issues with any, smudging or smearing. Once this sets, it pretty much stays in place, is what I've found. And it doesn't, you probably won't need to blot or use anything else during the day. It's super, super mattifying. And again, they did that without denatured alcohol, which is great. But if you have dry skin, you're not going to like the performance of this because throughout the day, your skin's it's going to accentuate more and more flakes. So if you have oily skin, though, you're going to like this. And I didn't notice a lot of creasing or anything like that. So even more to like. Number 9 is a price, and I gave it a thumb up there. It's $44, and like I said, this is the sample, but a little bit goes a long way. And this color is N20. I got a couple samples of a couple different colors, and N20 to me was the one that matched the best, but a little bit goes a long way. The full size is 1 ounce, and it sells for $44, but that will last you quite a long time, in my opinion, so worth checking out, and it's good quality as well. And nowadays there's foundations for hundreds of dollars. If as much as you want to spend, you can find it, but they've done a good job with this. And number 10 is the It Factor, and I did not give it a thumb up there. If this was good for oily and dry skin, I'd probably give it a wow factor, or if it contained SPF, because it doesn't contain SPF, which is the one bummer. But if you have sensitive skin, it's probably better to be able to buy foundations that don't already have it included, so you can pick out your own SPF to put underneath it. But if this were good for oily and dry skin, it would definitely give me the It Factor that I have to have it. But if you have oily skin, you'll like it. But CoverFX has some good foundations out there. I just haven't found one that works best for my skin type, and I like to find ones that have SPF in it for myself. But overall, this is very good. So it got a 9 out of 10, which is, if you have oily skin. If you have dry skin, that's like a 0 out of 10, because it's just not going to work for you. Although there's always an exception to every rule. But if you have oily skin, I would recommend checking this out if you don't mind using a separate SPF underneath, or using a powder SPF on top. But anyway, worth checking out for those of you guys with oily skin. And anyway, I'm interested if you guys have had a chance to check this out yet or not. And if so, what your thoughts were, if you loved it or hated it, and what is your skin type. So leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already. I come with at least 1 new review every day. And check out nobsbeauty.net. Thank you so much, guys. Hi, this is Sarah from No BS Beauty, and I'm proud to offer you one of my first products, and it is a stainless steel makeup palette. And I've been using ones like these for quite a while, and it makes it a lot easier to mix kind of custom foundation shades, custom serums, custom lip colors. You need something like this in your makeup routine to make things a lot easier. And all the profits from it will go to help the channel, which I'm independent and I purchase all the products with my own money. So definitely all of the profits will go so I can continue to bring you good reviews. But, you know, things I like to use are retinol. Retinol is definitely a good thing to use, but sometimes some of them can be a little too strong. So sometimes I like to mix them with other serums. So I'll use this to kind of custom make my retinol at night. So it's a little bit less irritating when you mix it in with something else. Or another thing you can do is mix in a vitamin C. Some of these can be a little oily or greasy, so sometimes it's nice to be able to mix it in with another serum. So I like to use the Clinique one, and I'll mix this in just a little bit, because otherwise sometimes it can be a little too oily. And I'll mix it in, and in the morning I'll apply it all over my face before sunscreen. And another good vitamin C serum I like is the Dermadoctor one, but sometimes using the dropper with that can be a little messy, so sometimes I just like to mix just a little bit in with another serum. I love the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Serum, definitely a holy grail of mine. And I like to mix that in with it as well. Or sometimes before I go to bed, if I've got something else going on the next day, I like to mix in a little bit of tanner, self-tanner, but sometimes if you use it alone, it can get a little too orange or a little too dark. So sometimes mixing that in with another serum makes it definitely a lot better and a lot more moisturizing for your skin as well. So definitely something you can use in your serums, or your kind of custom make your own skincare routine by using that and mixing up all these products. So definitely something worth considering there. And I also like to use it to mix in some of my custom foundations. So let me show you that too. Another thing I've been using this palette for is mixing and kind of customizing my own foundation. Kind of, you can almost create a specific color if you have certain foundations that don't mesh well with your skin tone or even your skin texture. You can almost create your own custom foundation. One foundation I love is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro. However, sometimes I can find it to be a little too drying and almost kind of giving you more of a matte finish. So sometimes I'll mix in a little bit of the Josimara and Argan Moonstone drops with it and then use it. And it kind of helps kind of lessen the color and kind of give it a little bit more of a glowy look. Another thing I like to use is mixing in sometimes with oil with a foundation, and sometimes that gives you more of a dewy look. So sometimes I'll mix that in with the Dr. Jart, and it helps give you a little bit more of a glow to it. So sometimes mix in just a little bit in, and you definitely want to be careful with what you're mixing just to make sure that the ingredients are compatible, because certain types of foundations don't work well with certain types of other ingredients, but something to consider, definitely. But you can almost create your own custom look. I love this, but sometimes I feel like I need a little bit of a glow to it, so I'll mix in some of my NYX Born to Glow Illuminator with it. So you can definitely do that. Also, Cover FX makes a great, they're custom cover drops, but you can use these to alter the color of any foundation. So this is great to mix that with. Just give it a couple drops there, and then mix that in with another foundation to make it either lighter or darker. The Ordinary Serum Foundation is great, but I found it difficult to get the exact color. So sometimes mixing the other colors works well. Cover FX also has these new glitter drops, so sometimes it's nice to be able to use this to mix in with either a foundation or just to put it on this. And then you can use a brush to either dip it in and apply it as eyeshadow, or dip it in and apply it onto lips as kind of a lipstick cover. So there's definitely some great options, and definitely love some of Cover FX's custom enhancer drops, but you can use this to mix it in with almost any different type of foundation and add a little bit of color here and there. But definitely using this, and if you use a sponge or a beauty blender, you can get that damp and then just use this to dip it in and apply it. It makes it a heck of a lot easier than trying to do it in your hand, or I don't know where else you would even, maybe the lid of another product, but this definitely makes all of that a heck of a lot easier. So it's definitely something worth picking up. And all of the profits from the sales of this palette will go to support my independent reviews. I purchase all the products with myself just so I can give you an honest opinion as opposed to somebody that gets the products for free to review. I personally like to purchase them so I can give you my completely objective review without having to feel like I owe a company anything because they gave me something free. So all the profits will go to help support those reviews.